Dad ran for the state legislature in Wyoming, 1926.
Hot Springs County.
Hot Springs County.
Good, you're
And,
keeping
and
up with
by
the
the
history.
way, we ran across, we're looking through
Martha,
boxes.
listen to
You
this.
know how you look through boxes at this age and stage. You're trying to catalog things, you're trying to gather the history, the legacy. We ran across a certificate. Al has a copy, and the kids I've given a copy of Dad's certificate of election to the legislature in 1926, signed by Nellie Taylor Ross, governor.
Wow.
No.
First woman,
No way.
first woman
Original signature.
original
Wow.
signature. Anyhow, he went to the legislature because he had won on, it's a prohibition story again, he'd won in the campaign fighting against the Prohibition Amendment, and he won because the neighboring town from Thermopolis was a mining town called Jibo. They were all against the Prohibition. He took all of that vote, so he went down to the state legislature, and he was violently opposed against the Prohibition Amendment, as any self-respecting Wyoming guy should, and even got called out by a good friend of his mother, Mrs. Fenwick, who was a WCTU.
WCTU.
Called him out and said that he had heard, she brought a reporter to meet him after a legislative session on the sidewalk of the Capitol and asked him, the reporter asked Dad, this woman has said that you are wet. Are you wet or are you dry? And Dad responded, if I were any more wet, if you blew on me, I'd ripple. And so he made a boast. There was a bill called the Still Bill, and he made a boast that if he couldn't defend somebody on the Still Bill, which he thought would make a criminal out of a housewife drawing bath water, he said, I'll give him his money back. So when he arrived in Thermopolis at the train station, the local bootlegger, this is a great name, by the way, by the name of Sharky Swain,
Sharky
was
Swain.
was on the deck at the station. So he went up to Dad and he said, okay, kid, make good your brag, because I got here an indictment under the Still Bill. And so Dad took the case, worked his tail off, and at the end of it, he got him off. So Sharky came up to the old Clink building in Thermopolis, still there, by the way, and was going to settle up. And Dad was officing with his dad. Right across the hall was a dentist's office. Right next to his office was an accountant's office. Sharky came up and he was resplendent. He looked like he'd won the day, and of course he had. So he asked Dad, okay, what'll it be? And Dad screwed up his courage and said $350, which was a hell of a lot of money in those days. He said Sharky reached into his pocket and he had a roll of bills just choke a horse, and he started counting them like that. And as he was counting, this dentist across the hall must have hit a nerve, and this woman screamed bloody murder. Sharky never stopped counting. He said, is that a lawyer's office too?